ich bin's wieder, Kei Haram, hier mit meinem Let's Play von Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Spirit of Justice. Und beim letzten Mal haben wir Mr. Immis, den wir jetzt aber in Mr. Wookie umgenannt haben, im Kreuzfeuer ein bisschen ausgequetscht und er muss beim Inner Sanctum gewesen sein, sonst hätte er diese Silhouetten hinter dem Vorhang nicht gesehen. Und da stellt sich die Frage, wie ist er dahin gekommen? Weil über die Treppe kann es nicht gewesen sein, weil die Leute hätten ihn bemerkt. So, also gehen wir mal mit der Annahme. Er ist vom Himmel gefallen. Nee, ist echt so. Er ist vom Himmel gefallen. Maybe you fell from the sky? The lawyer thinks he's a comedian now. I was wondering what crazy theory you would propose next. Well, defense, let's hear it. Mr. Wookie could have, parachuted down. We already know the weather was clear and there was no wind to speak of. Perfect weather for skydiving, I'd say. Now that you have been backed into a corner, your delusions grow ever more delusional. The inner sanctum is on a tiny ledge upon a sheer cliff over 2,000 meters tall. One misstep and a skydiver would soon find themselves in a twilight realm. Yeah, I don't care how still the wind was, even I couldn't have made that jump. Wait, what's this building on top of the sacred mountain? That is Royal Penitentiary number 4. Alright, Princess Rafa mentioned there was a prison up there. How do you get your prisoners up there anyway? By helicopter, but only with authorization from the Minister of Justice. He is the only one who can approve flights that pass over the inner sanctum. Alles klar. Might I also add, defense, that no parachute or any other equipment necessary for skydiving have been found. Are you saying I fly down there by flapping my arms? I may be an incredible dude, but even I'm not that capable of that. Ah, well, please add that statement to your testimony, Mr. Wookie. It's not like I can fly through the air, either. Well then. Aber wenn wir jetzt schon so drüber nachdenken, wegen dieser ganzen Sache, von wegen Parachuting und Skydiving und alles, dass er vom Himmel gefallen ist, dass es kein Equip gab, er hätte sich auch einfach eins basteln können. Dings. Ich meine, hier. Das kann man doch zum Beispiel als Fallschirm benutzen. Hm? Ohne Mist. Das ist echt possible. Ist ja nicht zum Beispiel nicht so, ich plaudere mal aus dem Nähkästchen raus, dass ich mal jemanden in meiner Klasse hatte, der wollte tatsächlich eine Plastiktüte als Fallschirm benutzen. Ging natürlich nicht gut aus, aber zum Glück nur ein gebrochener Arm. Mr. Wookie is right. He couldn't have skydived down there without any gear. Well now, finally come around, have ya? Now you see that I couldn't have possibly been there at the inner sanctum. Right. If you didn't have any gear, that is. What on earth are you talking about? That overreaction is a dead giveaway that I'm not the right I'm not on the right track. Junge, du verwirrst mich! Schau mal da. Take a look at this piece of evidence. Those are prayer flags, are they not? Yes, but they have been sewn together to create one big banner. A banner that could also function like a parachute. Palkunka! The people of Kurain are so used to seeing prayer flags that the police didn't even think twice about these flags during their investigation. No, this cannot be. No! The witness landed at the inner sanctum by using these prayer flags as a parachute. Is that not right, Mr. Wookie? There's no way out. I'm surrounded. Mr. Wookie? All this talk's shocked my memory. I guess I was there at the inner sanctum after all. St. Martin hat gegrunzt! As I suspected, there were 3 people there that night. You did it, Nick! You weren't wrong after all. Thanks? Mr. Wookie, you were the one disguised as Lady Kira that night, weren't you? What? No way, no how. It's like this, oh yeah. I was only there in the sector by accident. By accident? Exactly. And that thing's not a parachute, it's a homemade paraglider. A paraglider? Are you telling me you could fly using that patchwork mess of material? It may not look like much, but it's as sturdy as can be. I rode the wind like an eagle, going higher and higher from my earthly launching point. But then something happened that forced me to land at the inner sanctum. So you just happened to land there? You expect me to believe that? No. Please calm yourself, Mr. Wright. However, the fact that the witness was at the inner sanctum is crucial testimony indeed. And it certainly warrants further explanation. Therefore, let's continue with more testimony. Okay. Hau mal raus. Ja, dann sag mal. That evening, I was enjoying a trek through the night sky with my homemade paraglider. But just as Pony was drawing near, something terrible happened. An accident forced me to make an emergency landing at the inner sanctum. As I landed, I banged my head, causing me to lose my memory. So you see, I ended up at the inner sanctum purely by accident. Mr. Wookie, you failed to mention any of this during your pre-trial questioning. Can't be helped! I mean, I'm just remembering it now! Continue such slipshod testimony and you will be cast into the hell of hangnails, where you shall have hangnails grown and ripped out for 800 million years. I think I'll pass on that. Looks like that court prosecutor stopped Marty off guard. This is my chance to rip his case to shreds. Oh yeah. Erstmal an das hinsetzen und... Oh ja. Fühlt sich das gut an. Na dann. Kreuzverhör. Why I was at the inner sanctum. So. Erstmal wieder grinsen. Ich finde ihn so niedlich. Ich finde den Zeugen klasse. Okay, ein Unfall. Was denn für ein Unfall? What exactly was this accident you had? Good question. Now what was it again? Wind! Oh yeah, it was the wind! And not just any wind, but a sudden gale force wind. Made me lose control. The wind was strong enough to make you lose control? Ach, diese blöde Schorle. You got that right. Okay then, please add that to your testimony. Gale force winds came out of nowhere, so I made an emergency landing at the sanctum. Ja. Du hast noch im letzten Part darauf geschworen, dass es klares Wetter gab. Und jetzt willst du mir sagen, dass ein Wind dich dazu gebracht hat, beim Inner Sanctum anzuhalten? Dein Scheiß Ernst? We have a saying in my country, Mr. Wookie. One lie begets another. What's that supposed to mean? It means someone caught lying will lie again in an attempt to conceal their first lie. In other words, this current testimony is just a blatant lie you're telling to cover your tracks. What did you just say? You claimed gale force winds caused you to lose control. But this newspaper has the weather report for the day of the murder. It says, the area around the inner sanctum will enjoy calm, clear skies today. Why, I do believe it does say that. One lie begets another. That makes sense, but is it really a saying back home? I've never heard of it. Yeah, I kind of made that one up. For real? Your Majesty, the witness testimony contains another flaw, one that's even more fatal to his cause. More fatal, you say? The defense will explain himself at once. Mr. Wookie claims he was flying up around the inner sanctum with his paraglider. But it would have been impossible to get all the way up there without any wind. Why yes, I believe you're right. But we know the witness was at the inner sanctum, so... Mr. Wookie, how did you get there? And from where? Na, da ist still. Without any wind, he couldn't have flown up there from the bottom of the mountain. By process of elimination, the only starting point that makes any sense is... Your Majesty, I believe I have the answer to your question. To reach the inner sanctum, Mr. Wookie must have launched himself from here. Muss ganz oben an der Spitze des Berges gewesen sein. Da, wo sich auch das Hochsicherheitsgefängnis befindet. Are you insane? That's where you came from? If you couldn't have come from below, the only other option is from above. So you see? Anonymous Wookie came down from Royal Penitentiary number 4. From there, he could have easily reached the inner sanctum by parachute. And that means he might have also killed the High Priest. What? Mr. Wookie, were you the third party at the inner sanctum? And the one behind the warning to halt the Wright that the victim received? Was it you we saw in his final memory? Are you the rebel hunter, Lady Kira? Hey, Mr. Prosecutor, sir, help me out there! You did it! You finally left him speechless! Oh, come on, Mr. Prosecutor, man! Quiet, you fool. You should use this time to prepare yourself for what is to come. For a fate far worse than hanging hell awaits you now. Well done, defense. I must concede this point to you. The witness did, in fact, descend to the inner sanctum from Royal Penitentiary number 4. Huh? He didn't even put up a fight this time? That's awful. Awfully generous of him. But if you are as perceptive as you seem, then surely you've already figured out the riddle. The riddle of anonymous Wookiee's true identity. Oh, his true identity? Not sure I know quite yet, but I guess I'll have to answer with something. It would seem I'm the only one still in the dark here. Would the defense care to enlighten me? Who is this man we've been calling Anonymous Wookiee? Der Witness' True Identity ist... Es gibt ja tatsächlich einen Vorfall, wo ja jemand aus dem Gefängnis abgehauen ist. Und wir haben sogar ein Bild von ihm. Unser lieber Wookiee ist der gefrorene Gefangene. That's a rebel. Is this really him? Only now do you realize the truth. Well, please do share with us your belated insight. What's wrong, Nick? Just say it! Because this isn't going to be very helpful to our case. Really? Are you sure? Unfortunately, I've got no other choice. That scruffy bird and shaggy mane completely threw me off. But it's all becoming clear now. The nighttime base jump from the mountaintop prison, the precision landing at the inner sanctum using only a homemade parachute. Only a paratrooper, or more precisely, a former paratrooper could have pulled that off. This witness is That's a Rebel, prison escapee and key member of Dirk's rebel group. What? Ah! The witness is an escaped prisoner? Precisely. The police have been scouring every corner of the city to no avail. Meanwhile, here he was under our noses the entire time. Ah! Didn't think anyone would see through my clever disguise. But the witness charade is not all that has been shattered. Is it, defense? Boy, do I hate this guy! Please recall the defense's own words. Whoever sent it clearly meant to threaten the High Priest. The letter said, "Do not perform the rite." But the rite went on as scheduled. I believe that is why the High Priest was murdered. Who do you suppose sent that letter? A person with something to hide. The rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kira herself. He claimed that the real killer was the rebel hunter disguised as Lady Kira. Yeah, and what's your point? What of the witness' true identity? Only a paratrooper, or more precisely, a former paratrooper could have pulled that off. This witnesses that's a rebel. Prison escapee and key member of Dirk's rebel group. Oh no! He is a rebel and an escaped prisoner. He could not possibly have been Lady Kira, mortal enemy of the rebels. No! Now, perhaps the witness will enlighten us to the truth. After all, he has yet to refute any of this.